One of the biggest misconceptions about energy is it's just something you have or you don't. But the reality is your energy levels are directly tied to your everyday habits. If you do things that constantly drain your energy, it doesn't matter how much sleep you get, you're still going to feel exhausted. I used to do all of these habits that I'm about to share with you guys, and it took me a while to figure out what was wrong with me. So let's dive in and see if any of these habits are affecting your energy too and what we can do about them. Scrolling in the morning. Are you guilty of scrolling through social media first thing in the morning? If so, you might be draining your energy levels without you even realizing it. A recent survey conducted by reviews.org found that the average American checks their phone within the first 10 minutes of waking up. I used to be addicted to my phone. Not exaggerating. I was absolutely addicted to my cell phone. Every morning before getting out of bed, before I even think to breathe, I would grab my phone and I would scroll and I'd have to know what was going on that day, catch up with everything, and I thought this was just like a harmless act. But as it turns out, this habit was greatly affecting my energy levels, and as soon as I got out of bed, I was already in a losing battle. I'd feel sluggish and unmotivated and have a difficult time getting through the day, quite frankly. I tried to break this habit several times, but I kept failing. It wasn't until I ruined a lot of relationships and friendships that I began to be like, all right, this is a serious problem that I need to address. If you want to start your day off right, get rid of your phone in the morning. Just put it out of sight, out of mind, get up, do things for yourself like exercise, meditation, journaling, breathing exercises, whatever it is. You don't need technology and you are going to thank yourself. Next is lack of sunlight. If you're a night owl and you rarely see the light of day, chances are you're usually always pretty tired. I used to work from home and I rarely left my house during the day. I thought it was great to avoid the sun and stay cozy inside, dim the lights, and just kind of live in my own little cave. But then I realized I was starting to have less energy throughout the day. I'd feel groggy and unmotivated and I'd struggle to get things done. And that wasn't really a normal thing for me when I was working in an office. I would try to supplement this by drinking a lot of caffeine, and that would just make things worse. And since my sleep schedule was out of whack, I didn't really have a good body rhythm and it was really hard to just maintain energy levels throughout the day. So what I started to do was take walks during the day in the sunlight around my neighborhood and just recharge and get vitamin D and see if that was going to have some sort of benefit. And it did. It made me feel more awake and alert, and just getting outside and getting that sunlight was just something that really helped me. Now I make it a point to get outside and walk at least once a day during peak sunlight hours, where I can do that if it's a jog or a walk or whatever the case may be. I just need to make sure that I'm getting sun at some point in the day. So give this a try. If you're someone that doesn't typically go out and seek sunlight during the day, you're either a vampire or you're a very tired person. Next is a bad sleep routine. According to a National Sleep Foundation, adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night to function at their best. If you're a night owl that just binge watches Netflix or goes on TikTok all night and has a really hard time falling asleep at night and then you wake up feeling groggy, that's probably why. If you don't have a good sleep routine, your energy levels will show for it. I used to stay up late every night watching TV and playing video games and not really having a set sleep schedule. I thought this was a great way to just unwind after a long day, and turns out it was actually draining my energy a lot more than I thought. Tried a ton of sleep aids like sleeping pills and green tea and everything like that, and nothing seemed to work that well. What ended up working best for me was setting a strict bedtime for myself. And in order for me to be able to fall asleep at that point, I couldn't be throwing screens in my face up until the very last moment where I'm going to go to bed. I also learned a really helpful breathing exercise called the 4-7-8 technique, which I did a video on previously. You can go back and watch that. But that helped me fall asleep a lot quicker. So now I make it a point to stick to a strict sleep schedule during the week, at least Monday through Friday. I'm in bed at like 9 o'clock, which sounds, oh man, my younger self would think I'm so lame, but it is what helps me and it is what keeps my energy levels up when I wake up. Next is eating overprocessed foods. If you're a fan of microwave meals and fast food and just whatever junk gets thrown in your face, I get it, but it's probably not helping your energy levels. According to a study by Harvard Health Publishing, eating a diet high in processed foods and sugar can lead to decreased energy levels and increased risk of chronic diseases. When I was a kid, I used to get what they called prizes. My mom would always get me a prize at the grocery store, and it would be like honey buns or Twinkies or whatever. How was the junk food junkie? That was a great way to satisfy my cravings, and since I was active in sports and I was exercising and I wasn't fat, it was like no harm, no foul, right? And as I got older, I just got accustomed to eating like frozen pizzas every night, doing things like that. And I was like, I'm always tired. And it wasn't until I started to really change the way that I ate that I started to actually feel productive and have a high energy level. I started cooking more at home and avoiding processed foods as good as they are. And I saw an improvement. It took a while to adjust, and I still allow myself to have treats or junk food every now and then, but now that I'm doing it more consistently, where I'm looking at a balanced diet, it's showing with my energy levels. Next is not moving around. If you're guilty of spending countless hours sitting on your couch binge watching Love is Blind, I get it, I've been there, I do that too sometimes, but that's affecting your energy levels. I am telling you, for many years, I had my 8-hour office desk job where I would sit down on a computer for 8 hours a day. I'd get off, I'd go home, I'd proceed to sit on a couch and watch TV until I was tired enough to try to fall asleep. I knew this was no way to live, and I was always tired, and I knew I had to make some adjustments. So the best thing that helped me with this was I'd hit the gym in the morning. That was the only way. I'd get up and I would move in the morning while I have energy, and that would carry on throughout the day. I'd go to work and I'd be productive and I would be more focused. I started my day out on a good path, and that energy would just carry on throughout the day. And then after work, wouldn't have to worry about going to the gym. I can go and do the rest of the day the way I please. I don't think there's anything wrong with watching TV after work. I still do it all the time. But now that I work out in the morning and I get my energy out and I have movement throughout the day, I'm a lot more well equipped to not have low energy levels. So what does that mean for you? Does it mean taking breaks throughout the workday to do some light stretching or walking? Does that mean going to the gym early at 4 a.m. because that's the only time you could feasibly do it? Whatever it is, just know that there's people that are doing the exact same thing you do. And I know it's an inconvenience, but it's something that needs to be done. The next thing killing your energy is holding on to resentment and anger. Are you still holding on to a grudge from that time your best friend ate the last slice of pizza? Or that one time where a coworker took credit for your work? No matter how justifiable it is, having resentment can drain your energy. And I know from personal experience how hard it can be to let go of resentment and anger towards someone. I still hold on to grudges for months, years even, just replaying in my head how that person did me wrong and why I should be mad. And it took up a lot of my time and a lot of my energy. So I started working on letting go of resentment and anger. I started talking to friends and family about how I was feeling. I started using a journal, anything I could do to release that negative energy out. I also tried practicing forgiveness, which I know is easier said than done. It's tough, but it helps. I felt more lighter and more energized and more positive. I was able to focus on the present and the future instead of dwelling on the past. So how can you find healthy ways to let go of resentment and anger? If this is keeping a journal or talking to a therapist or approaching that person directly and try to come to a resolution, whatever the case may be, it's going to help you and it's going to weigh you down a lot less. By making small changes into your daily habits, you are going to see such an increased amount of energy that you didn't even have before. So take a moment to reflect on your habits and see what areas you're able to make a change in. Maybe it's putting your phone in a different room before you go to bed, so it's out of sight and out of mind and you don't reach for it. Or maybe it's something much bigger, like forgiving someone who did you dirty. Whatever it is, remember that you have the power to make positive change in your life, and maybe that newfound energy will allow you to accomplish things that you didn't even know were possible. If this video brought you value, please hit that like button, and I'll subscribe and let me know what habits that you have incorporated in your life that have helped you go from having no energy to having a ton of energy. Please check out this next video coming up right here, and I'll see you next one. Later.